Call to order our special meeting of Plymouth Township Council for November 29th, 2021. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there any public comment on the agenda this evening? Seeing none, we will move to our first item is the Earned Income Tax Increase Ordinance being offered tonight for first and final consideration. And I believe, is that a Mr. Clark reading?
It is indeed. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Taxation of Plymouth Township Code of Ordinances, as amended by amending Article 9, Earned Income Tax, to increase the rate of the earned income tax for residents of Plymouth Township, to include a severability clause, to include a savings clause, and to establish an effective date. Whereas Plymouth Township is a home rule community created by charter in accordance with the Pennsylvania's Home Rule and Optional Plan Law, whereas pursuant to Section 501 of the Township's Home Rule Charter, Township Council is empowered to create and to adopt ordinances and to establish, levy, collect, and increase or decrease the rate of existing taxes. And whereas pursuant to Ordinance 1042 of 1990, the Township imposed an earned income tax on residents and non-residents applicable to all earned income and net profits in the amount of 1%. And whereas Township Council has determined that it is necessary to increase the rate of the earned income tax on township residents only for the proper management and control of the township and its finances. Now, therefore, it is the intention of the Township Council, and it is hereby ordained that Chapter 22, Article 9 of the Plymouth Township Code of Ordinances shall be and is amended as follows. Section 1, Amendment, Section 22-188, Imposition of Tax of the Township Code, shall be amended to read as follows. A tax at a rate of 1.05% on each dollar is hereby imposed on all income and net profits as defined herein, earned by residents of the township, and a tax rate of 1% on each dollar is hereby imposed on all earned income and net profits earned by non-residents of the township for work done or services performed or rendered in said township. This tax shall become effective January 1st, 2022, and shall remain in effect thereafter on a calendar year basis without annual reenactment unless the rate of tax is subsequently changed. 2. Severability. The terms, conditions, and provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be severable, and should any portion, part, or provision of this ordinance be found by a court of competent jurisdiction to be invalid, unenforceable, or unconstitutional, the Township Council hereby declares its intent that the ordinance shall have been enacted without regard to the invalid, unenforceable, or unconstitutional portion, part, or provision of this ordinance. Section 3, Savings Clause, except as specifically hereby amended, Chapter 22, Article 9 of the Plymouth Township Code as amended is hereby ratified and confirmed in its entirety. Effective date. The ordinance shall become effective in accordance with the provisions of the Plymouth Township Charter, ordained and enacted by the Council of Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, this 29th day of November, 2021. Council of Plymouth Township by Christopher G. Monero, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Are there any comments or questions from council? Just to add, and I know we've discussed this at several meetings, but as we embark on a renovation of the township building, which is long overdue and frankly simply necessary, we did have to decide how to raise the revenue. It was determined that we did not want to sell our sewer system a couple years ago and keep the ownership of that system and control of the rates to ourselves. While that would have netted probably the money necessary, we realized that it was not the most prudent action for us to take, so we do still have to raise the revenue for this building renovation, and we decided that a combination of earned income tax and real estate tax would be the best way so as not to overburden those on fixed incomes who are living, not currently working. And this way we sort of spread out the increase in both real estate taxes, which we'll discuss later this month, and earned income tax, to make sure businesses are still paying, but the individual tax burden is not solely on real estate tax. So that was our purpose for looking at a combination of the two increases rather than just going all in on one or the other. So just wanted to, again, clarify that, since we've discussed it at a few meetings, but tonight we are making this final decision. Any additional questions or comments? Nothing I said there was inaccurate or left out or anything. All right. In that case, we'll move to a roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to approve this earned income tax increase ordinance?
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bandish. Comments or questions from council? From the audience? Seeing none, we will do a roll call vote. Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Moving on to our sewer rate increase ordinance for first and final consideration. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Bonero. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 3, Water, Sewers, and Sewage Disposal, Article 2, Sewers and Sewage Disposal, Division 3, Rates and Charges of the Plymouth Township Code of Ordinance 345, as amended, Section 23-43A, Rentals or Rates, to increase the rentals and rates for sanitary sewage for meter and non-metered water users within the township. The Council of Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, does hereby enact and ordain the following. Section 1, Article 2, Sewers and Sewage Disposal, Division 3, Rates and Charges, Section 2-23-43, Rentals or Rates, Section A, Conshohocken Area Sewer District and Plymouth Area Sewer District. 1, Rates for metered users of the Plymouth Township Code of Ordinance number 345, as amended, shall be amended in its entirety as follows. Section 23-43, Rentals or Rates, subsection A, Conshohocken Area Sewer District and Plymouth Area Sewer District. Section 1, Rates for metered water users. All persons owning property connecting to the sewer system and served with metered water service shall pay a quarterly rental for sanitary sewer service based on quantity of water used, as evidenced by metered readings of water meters installed and maintained by the water supplier for the purpose of measuring water purchased from said water supplier, and such other meters as may be installed pursuant to any provisions of this division, and subject to the minimum charges hereinafter provided, all as follows. A, sewage collection charge applicable to all quantities of water consumed. First, 7,000 gallons or less per quarter, a minimum of $22.44. All over 7,000 gallons per quarter, per 1,000 gallons per quarter, $1.54. Section B, sewage treatment charge applicable to all quantities of water consumed. First, 7,000 gallons or less per quarter, a minimum, $28.26. All over 7,000 gallons per quarter, per 1,000 gallons per quarter, $1.99. Section 2, Article 2, Sewer and Sewage Disposal, Division 3, Rates and Charges, Section 23-43, Rentals or Rates, Section A, Conshohocken Area Sewer District and Plymouth Area Sewer District. Section 2, Rates for non-metered water users of the Plymouth Township Code of Ordinance number 345, as amended, shall be amended in its entirety as follows. B, rates for non-metered water users. All persons owning property connecting to the sewer system and served with water service, all of which water is unmetered, shall pay a quarterly rental for sanitary sewage service as follows. 1, sewage collection charge, $37.43 per quarter. 2, sewage treatment charge, $47.07 per quarter. The township reserves the right to require the payment of additional charges for the collection and treatment of sanitary sewage from unmetered commercial, public, and industrial users. Section 3, effective date. The sewer rates set forth herein shall be effective commencing the third calendar quarter of 2022. Section 4, except as specifically hereby amended, Article 2, sewers and sewage disposal, Division 3, rates and charges, Section 23-43, rentals or rates of the Plymouth Township Code, Ordinance number 345, as amended, is hereby ratified and confirmed in its entirety. Section 5, if any provision or part of this ordinance is held invalid, the remaining provisions and parts of this ordinance shall not be affected thereby. If the application of this ordinance or any of its provisions or parts to any person's property or circumstances is held invalid, the application of this ordinance to other persons' property or circumstances shall not be affected thereby. Ordained and enacted by the Council of Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, this 29th day of November 2021. Council of Plymouth Township by Christopher G. Monero, Chairman, and members of council and anyone who may be listening. The increased rates that were just mentioned in this proposed amendment are the equivalent of a 9% increase.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Is there a motion to approve the sewer rate increase ordinance?
Yeah, Mr. Monero?
Yes.
Co-chair.
Sir.
So as that was being read aloud, Tim and I kind of both jarred. What you just read was this ordinance, and it said it would be effective in the third quarter. And so I looked back to the notice of public meeting that was in the Times Herald, and we wanted it to be the first quarter, and it does say commencing in the first calendar quarter.
Okay.
So this obviously was a typo, and the advertisement went through for the first quarter, so we'd like to make that change.
Okay.
That should be right.
Yep.
Fine.
So what was advertised was,
The first quarter.
then that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then this typo does not control.
Right, then we can get that fixed in the morning and re-signed.
Thanks.
All right?
Yep,
Okay.
Here, I'll give you did I sign, I didn't sign that.
Yeah, no, you want me to hold that?
yeah,
Yeah, we'll get this corrected, but the advertisement was correct.
and that's all that matters.
So the motion will be to approve the ordinance as originally
Advertised.
advertised.
Yep.
Right. Is there a motion? Motion from Mr. Higgins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bramblett. Comments or questions from council? And again, I'll just add, and we've increased sewer rates periodically. Tim, I think usually 7 to 9%, somewhere in that range. Again, maintaining ownership of our sewer system requires us to obviously maintain it. We have two major projects budgeted for 2022, which include a $1.3 million sewer interceptor project and a $700,000 Ridge Pike project. Both of those, need to obviously be funded. So again, the consequence of selling our sewer system would have been seeing these rates more than double, triple. We're here able to keep them at a manageable rate. And again, a reminder that our sewer rates, we do not operate our sewer at a profit, and that's one of the benefits of maintaining ownership. So these periodic small increases have been and will continue to be necessary as we prepare for projects and regular maintenance. Any additional comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we will do a roll call vote. Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next item is our notice of intent to award general construction for our township building renovation. Sorry, get rid of some of these papers here. Do I have I don't think I have anything to read for that, do I, other than just the announcement of?
Yeah, it's a notice of intent to award general construction
Yep, got it.
to, yep,
And this is a notice of intent to award our general construction bid to Rycon Construction in the amount of $8,752,800. And that, am I correct, includes alternates 1, 1A, 2, and 15?
correct.
Correct. Is there a motion to approve this notice of intent to award this general construction bid?
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Bandish. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Bramblett. Comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next item is acting manager, and that will, I guess, hand over to Ms. Weiss.
Yeah, so, you know, you should probably know Tim Krillman presently is the acting manager in my absence, and with his impending retirement, we thought we should bring this memo up to date. And I've decided that John Nisciati's chief of police would be my choice to, you know, take over in my absence, disability, or vacancy of the office of manager. So with your approval, I'd like to issue this memo. I'd just like to, I did last time, it was a number of years ago when Tim was appointed, so just like your blessing, and then I'll, and I've already spoken with John, you know, it's good with him, so.
That was going to be my follow-up question.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
any objections to me choosing the chief as acting manager in my absence?
I think it makes sense.
Yes, good,
Okay.
good choice.
Thank you. Okay.
Next, we have a records disposition resolution. Any volunteers to read this?
I'll read it.
Go ahead, Ms. Bramblett.
Resolution, whereas by virtue of resolution number 1991-53, adopted November 11, 1991, Plymouth Township declared its intent to follow the procedures for the disposition of records as set forth in the retention and disposition schedule for records of Pennsylvania municipalities issued on May 17, 1982. And whereas, in accordance with Act 428 of 1968, each individual act of disposition shall be approved by resolution of the governing body of the municipality. Now therefore be it resolved that Plymouth Township Council, in accordance with the above cited schedule, hereby authorizes the disposition of the following public records. Finance Department, expenditure and revenue computer records, 2015 to 2020, 3 boxes. Miscellaneous correspondence, 2000 to 2020, 8 boxes. Actuarial and pension reports, 2008 to 2015, 2 boxes. Audit reports, 2000 to 2010, 2 boxes. Total, 15 boxes. Adopted this 29th day of November 2021 by Plymouth Council. I make a motion that we approve this resolution for the disposition of records.
Motion from Ms. Bramblett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Higgins. Comments or questions from council? From the audience? Seeing none, we will do a roll call vote. Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next, we have the selection of business privilege and mercantile tax collector.
I guess several months ago, I had informed council and that was retiring, and I proposed that we use outside companies to collect business privilege, mercantile tax, and real estate tax. Based upon that, I would like to recommend that we select a company called Tri-State Financial Group as the collector of the business privilege and mercantile tax. They have a very good reputation. Other surrounding municipalities use them, are very pleased with them. They have the expertise, they have the technology. I think it's definitely something we want to do, and I would like to recommend that we select Tri-State Financial as the collector of the business privilege and mercantile tax.
And Mike's office has reviewed the proposal, just had the comment on the fees, and the any disputes would be taken care of in Montgomery County courts. They were the only 2 comments that.
That was my only comment. And I just
Yeah, they were the
yeah.
only comments, so we think that the 2% is reasonable, and 5% on collections on
Delinquent
finding.
collections.
I'm sorry.
The delinquent collections.
The delinquents and finding new businesses as well would
it'd certainly be worth 5%, because otherwise we wouldn't know about ones we didn't know about, if they can find them. So it seems fair enough to give them 5% if they can find money that we would never have otherwise had.
These businesses in the township be notified some way that there's somebody else, like, well, I guess, so then when they receive a bill, or is this just kind of they need to find out?
I would like to do a mailing, just an individual mailing to all the businesses, probably in December, just to let them know so there's no confusion that they're going to be getting a tax form that looks different. It's going to be coming from someone else. I think it's worth whatever postage is involved to do a mailing to all the businesses and let them know there'll be a different system for, and hopefully in the mailing will be a link to Tri-State's website. They can go on there, download forms and ask questions and do that kind of thing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll have a similar situation, I think notifying residents about, and businesses about real estate taxes, because we're gonna talk about that, in December, but it's the same thing. I remember when I got the first school tax bill from a different company, kind of throws you off. So we thought, whether we do a information in a sewer billing or a separate mailing, I think it's good to tell people.
Mhm.
Not everybody, is online, looking at the website and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So I don't know if we can talk about putting that, I don't know if everybody reads everything in their sewer bill, but if they do, we could put it there or somewhere so people can see it, and at least we can say we notified them,
That would say postage.
It would
It's
say
included in the
Yeah.
sewer bill.
And I think they'll go out in time, sometime in real estate, in February, so, but, the sewer bills go out in January, we could probably. Hmm?
Yeah.
January, middle of January.
Yeah, we could do the real estate notification in the sewer bills.
Yeah. So,
Sounds good. Whatever you guys think is best is fine with me. Any additional comments or questions?
We'd also publish it on the website. Right?
oh, yeah, sure, we
So-
have it there, they put it on
and
their Facebook and.
So then we could we tried two different ways.
Yes, but everybody really gets a bill.
Right.
Even if you're on auto pay, you get a bill, so you can see it.
So I'll ask for a motion to approve Tri-State Financial Group to serve as our collector of business privilege and mercantile tax.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Bandish, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Gannon. Any additional comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Ms. Bandish?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Moving down to miscellaneous. There's just one thing I wanted to bring up, and I guess we'll talk about it next week, but I mentioned to some of you up here, I think maybe all of you, that as we talk about increasing our police force and public safety, it just struck me personally as hearing some of the details of the justification for why we need more officers, that it would be a good time to just sort of make a statement about public safety in general. So I've been working with Alex just to put together a resolution, not anything that has real teeth, but more of a statement about our feelings. We did this a couple years ago with the fair districts talking about redistricting. So sort of just a call to our legislators at the state and federal level to push for reasonable, common sense legislation around guns. And I'll email that out to everybody and share it and just have everybody take a look at it. And then Karen, I'll send it and we can put it on the workshop agenda. Again, it's just a statement, a resolution, calling on Washington and Harrisburg to take action on a couple points from Ceasefire PA, sort of a common agenda of reform. So I just wanted to let you know that I'll be sharing that out with you, and hopefully something that we can do in cohesion with approval of the budget in December.
And will we be then sharing that with at least our representatives at the
Oh, yeah.
state and?
Sure.
Great. And perhaps the speakers and chairs of those governing bodies, so that they know where Plymouth stands.
Sure.
That's good.
Anything else?
just a short executive session, but.
That's good. All right, we will adjourn.